Before we get into this story, real quick, if you are new here, hit subscribe and tap that notification bell. New stories drop every week and you do not want to miss them. Drop your city in the comments. Now let us get into it. The launch event smells like new money and old ambition. The venue is a converted warehouse in the Arts District, all raw concrete floors, hanging Edison bulbs, and floor-to-ceiling glass walls overlooking a river that shimmers like liquid ink. The crowd inside is the kind of crowd that makes you feel like you need to do something with your life the second you walk in. Everyone is dressed sharp. Everyone is performing something. Elijah Voss stands near the back wall, one hand in his pocket, the other holding sparkling water he has not touched. He is wearing a sage green oversized blazer over a crisp white fitted crewneck, dark wash straight-leg jeans, and clean white low-top trainers with no creases. A minimal silver watch on his wrist. A thin chain sitting low on his collarbone. His locks are pulled back loosely, a few falling forward. He looks calm. Intentionally calm. The kind of calm that took years to build. He is 26. He is the creative director and co-founder of Drift Studio, a fashion-meets-tech brand that just landed a global retail deal worth more than he made in the first 5 years of his career combined. Tonight is the brand's official world debut. Every industry person who ignored him 2 years ago is in this building smiling in his direction. His phone buzzes. His co-founder and best friend, Milo, slides up next to him. Milo is wearing a loud printed shirt, 2 rings on each hand, and the energy of someone who has already had one too many sparkling wines. She actually showed up, Milo says, nodding toward the entrance. Elijah does not look immediately. She said she would. Bro. She is your brand strategist. Not your +1. There is a difference. Her name is Nadia. I know her name. What I do not know is why she is the first person you looked for when the doors opened. Elijah finally looks at the entrance. And there she is. Nadia Reyes walks into the room wearing a chocolate brown cord set, a structured cropped blazer and wide-leg trousers that move like water when she walks. A simple ivory camisole underneath. Small pearl earrings. Gold rings stacked on 2 fingers. Her dark curly hair is down and full, slightly wild in the best way. She is wearing low block-heeled mules in a warm caramel tone. She is not trying to be the most stylish person in the room. She just is. She scans the space once. Finds him immediately. Something moves across her face that she pulls back before it fully lands. Nobody in this room knows what she actually did for him. They did not see the night 6 months ago when Drift Studio was 48 hours away from losing its manufacturing contract. They did not see Elijah sitting on his studio floor surrounded by supplier emails and an investor deck that had just been rejected for the 3rd time. They did not see the person who showed up anyway. Laptop. Coffee. And the kind of honesty that does not cushion anything. Nadia had looked at everything, all of it, and said, "Here is what is actually wrong. Here is the part you keep avoiding. And here is the only version of this that works." She rebuilt the brand positioning strategy from scratch. In 3 weeks. While keeping her own freelance clients running. No one paid her extra. No one asked her to stay that late. She just did. The investors in this room who are raising glasses right now? They came in after the storm had already passed. Nadia walked straight into it. So yes. She is here tonight. She earned this room more than anyone else in it. Elijah starts moving toward her. Milo catches his arm. "Wait," Milo says. His voice has changed. Lower. Tighter. "There is something you need to know before she gets over here." Elijah stops. Milo looks at Nadia across the room and then back at Elijah. His jaw is working like he does not want to say the next part. Last month. She had a meeting with Crest Group. The name lands like a stone dropped into still water. Crest Group. Drift Studios' biggest competitor. The company that had tried to poach Elijah's entire design team 6 months ago. And? Elijah says. Very quiet. She brought your brand deck, Elijah. The unreleased one. The one with the next 2 product lines. The Edison bulbs above them keep glowing warm and golden. The crowd keeps laughing and clinking glasses. The river outside keeps shimmering. Elijah does not move. And Nadia is already walking toward him, smiling like tonight is everything it is supposed to be. The warehouse hums around them, but the space between Elijah and Nadia has gone completely soundless. Like the room decided to hold its breath. She stops 2 feet from him. Up close, she can see it immediately. His expression is too settled. Too organized. The kind of face someone wears when they have already made decisions and are just waiting for confirmation. Hey, she says. Hey. His eyes cut briefly to Milo, who has disappeared into the crowd. You made it. Almost did not. She glances around at the venue, the warm light, the beautiful chaotic energy of it all. This is insane. You built this. We built this. She smiles at that. And for a second it is real. Warm. The kind of smile that does not know it is being watched. Then he says, "Can I ask you something?" She tilts her head. You were going to anyway. Crest Group. The smile does not disappear. But it changes. Something underneath it shifts, like the ground moving a fraction before anyone can feel it. Where did you hear that? She says. Does it matter? It matters a lot actually. Nadia. Elijah. Her voice stays level. But her hands, both of them, press flat against her thighs for just a second. A tell. He catches it. Did you meet with them? He asks. She looks at him for a long moment. The Edison bulbs catch the gold in her rings. Somewhere behind them a group of people laugh loudly about something that does not matter at all. Yes, she says. I met with them. The word lands clean. No decoration on it. Elijah exhales through his nose. It is barely audible. But she hears it. Did you bring my deck? I brought a deck. Nadia. It was not your unreleased lines. Elijah, whoever told you that lied to you. Her voice does not crack but something in it tightens. What I brought was public-facing. The lookbook. The press kit. The stuff that was going live next week anyway. Then why the secret meeting? She looks away. Just for a second. When she looks back, something has opened in her expression that was not there before. Something older than tonight. Because they offered me a job, she says. And I went to see if I wanted it. Elijah stares at her. And, he says. She holds eye contact and does not blink. I turned it down. The warehouse keeps pulsing around them. A photographer cuts through the crowd 3 feet away. Neither of them moves. Why? He says. And this is the part she was not planning to say out loud. Not here. Not tonight. Not in the middle of his biggest moment while everyone is watching. But she says it anyway. Because leaving would have felt like burning the one thing I actually built for myself. The silence between them stretches. And then Milo reappears behind Elijah's shoulder. His face is different now. Pale. Tight. We have a problem, Milo says. A big one. Elijah does not look away from Nadia. What kind of problem? The kind where someone leaked your spring collection to a fashion blog. An hour ago. Before the official reveal. Nadia's eyes go wide. And Elijah finally turns around. The back office of the venue is a small concrete room with a folding table and a single overhead light that buzzes faintly. Outside the door, the launch party is still going. Music, laughter, the sound of a world that does not know yet. Elijah pulls up the blog post on his phone and sets it on the table. The images are real. Clear. Unmistakably from the Drift Studio spring collection that was not supposed to exist publicly until tomorrow morning. 4 pieces. The centerpiece jacket. The signature color block set. All of it. Laid out in a blog post titled, "Is Drift Studio About to Change Everything?" Here is a first look. Milo is pacing. Someone on the inside sent this. Elijah says nothing. Nadia is standing across the table from him, arms crossed, reading the post. Her face is working through something. The file metadata on these images, she says quietly. Can you pull it? Milo looks at Elijah. Elijah looks at his phone. Why? Milo says. Because if these images came from our internal server, the metadata will show which account accessed the folder and when. She pulls out her own phone. I still have remote access to the brand drive. You gave it to me in February. Milo takes a step forward. You are not seriously about to. Milo. Elijah's voice is quiet but it cuts through the room. Milo stops. Nadia's fingers move fast across her screen. The overhead light buzzes. The bass from the party outside pulses through the wall like a second heartbeat. Then she stops. Stares at her phone. What? Elijah says. She turns the screen toward him. The access log shows a username he recognizes immediately. Not hers. Not anyone from his design team. Milo's. The room goes so quiet that the buzzing light becomes the loudest thing in it. Elijah looks up from the phone slowly. Milo is already looking at the floor. Milo. Elijah's voice is barely above a whisper. Milo does not answer. Milo. Look at me. When Milo finally looks up, his expression is not the one Elijah expected. It is not guilt in the way guilt usually looks. It is exhaustion. Deep and old. I needed them to notice us, Milo says. The blog has 2 million followers. By morning, every buyer and every stockist we have been chasing for a year will be talking about Drift Studio. The reveal was too quiet, Elijah. The PR plan was too safe. You went around me. I did what I knew you would never approve. On the biggest night of everything we built. Because I was scared the biggest night of everything we built was going to come and go and nobody outside this room was going to care. Elijah sets the phone down on the table. He does not raise his voice. That is somehow worse. You let me stand out there thinking it was her. Milo's jaw locks. Nadia is very still. She is watching Elijah the way you watch someone who is holding something heavy and trying not to let anyone see how much it weighs. You need to go, Elijah says to Milo. Tonight. We will figure out the rest later. Milo looks once at Nadia, then back at Elijah. He picks up his jacket from the chair. He walks out. The door clicks shut behind him. The light buzzes. Nadia uncrosses her arms. Elijah. I owe you an apology. You were fed bad information by someone you trusted. That is not on you. I looked at you like you were the one. I know. He looks up. And you still told me the truth about Crest Group. Yeah. Even though I had already decided something. Yeah. He exhales. Long and slow. Why? She looks at him for a beat. The party outside pulses through the wall. The night is still happening without them. Because the version of this where I let you believe a lie about me just to keep things smooth, she says. I could not live in that version. And then her phone rings. She looks at the screen. Goes very still. Who is it? Elijah asks. She turns the phone toward him. The name on the screen is, Dad. And her face does something he has never seen it do before. It breaks. Just slightly. Just enough. I have to take this, she whispers. Give me a second. She steps out of the room. And Elijah stands alone under the buzzing light, holding the weight of a night that has become something he did not plan for at all. The side corridor outside the back office is all exposed pipe and concrete. The party noise fades to a low hum. Nadia is standing against the wall, phone pressed to her ear, one arm wrapped around herself. Elijah does not mean to hear. He steps out for air and stops when he catches her voice. I know, Dad. I know. A pause. No, the procedure is still scheduled for Thursday. Nothing has changed. Another pause. Her voice drops lower. I have the payment ready. I took care of it. He should go back inside. He knows that. But he cannot move. She ends the call. Presses the back of her head against the wall. Closes her eyes for 3 seconds exactly. Then she opens them and finds him standing there. Neither of them pretends she does not know he heard. Your dad, he says carefully. Not a question. Just an opening if she wants it. She looks at the ceiling for a moment. Then back at him. He needs a procedure. Cardiac. It is not optional and it is not cheap. She says it the way people say things they have rehearsed staying calm about. I have been managing it. For how long? 7 months. 7 months. The same 7 months she was rebuilding Drift Studio in the background. The same 7 months she was sleeping 4 hours a night and answering his 2 a.m. messages and never once making it anyone else's problem. Nadia. Do not. Her voice is gentle but firm. Do not look at me like that. I handled it. The Crest Group meeting. She does not answer immediately. The salary they offered, he says slowly. It would have covered it. She looks at him. Steady. Honest. Yeah. And you still turned it down. Yeah. Why? It is barely a word. It is more like breathing. She pushes off the wall. Smooths the front of her blazer. And she looks at him the way people look at someone when they are deciding how much truth the moment can hold. Because taking that job would have meant walking away from something that actually meant something to me, she says. And I have spent enough of my life making the practical choice at the cost of the real one. He steps closer. Not much. Just enough. You should have told me, he says. It was not your problem to carry. Nadia. You carried mine for 3 weeks without being asked. That was different. How? She opens her mouth. Closes it. Opens it again. Because yours was fixable, she says finally. And I did not want you looking at me like I was something that needed fixing. The corridor is quiet. Somewhere down the hall a door opens and a wave of music and laughter rolls through and then disappears when the door closes again. Elijah reaches into his jacket pocket. Pulls out his phone. Opens his banking app right there in front of her, no hesitation, no performance, and starts a transfer. Elijah, stop. It is already processing. I said stop. Her voice cracks on the second word. Just slightly. Just enough that they both hear it. He puts his phone away. Looks at her. Then let me rephrase, he says. Consider it an advance. On the new contract I am drawing up Monday. Full partnership rate. Back paid to February. She stares at him. You were never just a strategist, he says. You were the co-architect of everything in that room tonight. The room full of people who do not know your name yet. That is on me. And I am fixing it. Her eyes are doing the thing where they go bright without letting anything fall. You cannot just decide that unilaterally, she says. I just did. Elijah. Nadia. They are very close now. The corridor light above them flickers once. The hum of the party continues through the walls like a pulse. She looks at him for a long, unguarded moment. And then she says something he does not expect. There is one more thing I need to tell you. His expression stays open. Okay. The reason Milo reached out to Crest Group in the first place, she says. He was trying to broker a buyout. 6 weeks ago. He wanted to sell Drift Studio and split the profit. He approached them before the retail deal closed. Elijah goes completely still. I found out 3 weeks ago, she continues. I did not tell you because I could not prove it and I did not want to blow everything up the week before your biggest launch. But you went to the Crest Group meeting. To find out how far along it was. And? She meets his eyes. Far enough that if the retail deal had taken 2 more weeks, you would have come in one morning to a brand that had already been sold out from under you. The party is still happening. The city is still humming 30 feet away through glass walls. Elijah Voss stands in a concrete corridor and understands for the first time what was actually saved, and by whom. He does not say anything. He just looks at her. And whatever she sees in his face makes her breath go quiet. 3 weeks later. The Drift Studio office is quieter than it used to be. Milo's desk in the corner is cleared out. His rings and his loud energy and his name on the lease have all been handled the way hard things get handled, slowly, painfully, and without a clean ending. The spring collection launched the morning after the event and broke every engagement record the brand had ever set. Turns out the blog leak, accidental gift that it was, made the official reveal feel like a confirmation instead of a surprise. The comments called it genius. Elijah did not correct anyone. He did not go back out to the party that night. Neither did Nadia. They sat in that back office with the buzzing light and ate whatever sad catering was left on the table and talked for 4 hours about nothing that had anything to do with work. She told him about growing up watching her father build things with his hands. He told her about the 3 years he spent pretending he was fine after the first business he tried collapsed publicly and humiliatingly at age 22. She laughed at the parts that were genuinely funny. He did not try to fix the parts that were not. It was the most honest conversation either of them had in longer than they wanted to admit. The new contract was signed the following Monday. Her name went on the studio wall the Friday after that. A designer friend of Elijah's made the lettering in the same font as the brand logo and Nadia stood in front of it for a moment longer than she meant to. You did not have to do it like this, she said. I know, he said. I wanted to. Her dad's procedure went well. She did not tell Elijah until after it was done. He did not push her on it. He just showed up at the hospital waiting room the morning of, in a worn olive crewneck and track pants, holding 2 coffees, and sat next to her without making it a thing. She looked at him when he sat down. How did you even know? You told me Thursday was the day. In October. You mentioned it once and moved on like I was not supposed to remember. She stared at him. I remember everything you say, he said simply. And then he handed her the coffee. Now it is a Tuesday evening. The office is almost empty. The Edison bulbs they installed last month glow warm above rows of fabric samples and mood boards and half-finished sketches. The city outside the windows is doing its thing, moving and glittering and not caring about any of it. Nadia is at her desk in an oversized vintage band tee tucked into high-waisted wide-leg trousers in a warm rust tone, clean white crew socks, and chunky loafers. Her curly hair is up in a loose bun with a few pieces falling around her face. She is reading something on her screen, one knee pulled up to her chest, completely unbothered. Elijah is at the drafting table in a faded navy hoodie, gray joggers, and worn white sneakers. His locks are down tonight, falling around his face while he sketches. The gold chain is there. The silver watch is there. He is the most relaxed she has seen him since she has known him. He looks up. She is already looking at him. Neither of them moves for a second. "What?" he says. "Nothing," she says. "Just looking." He holds eye contact. "Yeah. Yeah." He sets the pencil down. Turns in his chair to face her fully. She lowers her knee from the desk and faces him. "I need to tell you something," he says. "Okay. I think you are the most important person in my life. And I do not mean professionally. And I am not going to make it weird or make it a thing that you have to manage. But I needed to say it out loud because I have been thinking it for about 4 months and keeping it inside of me is starting to take up too much space." Nadia looks at him for a long moment. The warm bulbs glow above them. A siren moves past outside and fades. 4 months, she says. Roughly. That is around when you started texting me good morning. He tilts his head. You noticed that? Elijah. Everyone noticed that. I noticed that. He laughs. Quiet and real. The kind of laugh that does not perform anything. She gets up from her desk. Walks across the office in her chunky loafers, slowly, not rushing it, and sits on the edge of the drafting table in front of him. Close enough that he has to look up at her. 4 months ago, she says, I started saving your texts in a separate folder. He blinks. What folder? She shrugs, a small smile pulling at the corner of her mouth. I called it miscellaneous. He laughs again. Longer this time. And she laughs too. And for a moment the office is just that, 2 people laughing in warm light, the city humming outside, the weight of the last 7 months sitting quieter than it has in a long time. He reaches up and takes her hand. She lets him. Their fingers settle together like they have been doing this for years. Maybe in some version of things, they have been. So what do we do now? He says. She looks down at their hands and then back at him. We figure it out, she says. Like we figure out everything else. Together? Together. Outside, the city moves on. Inside, 2 people who carried too much alone for too long decide, quietly and without any grand announcement, to stop doing that. The Edison bulbs glow warm. The sketches stay unfinished on the table. And neither of them minds at all. The end.